This is semi-final number 2. And it is between two Terrans. The mythical TvT. Rarer than a double rainbow. Or a sparkly vampire getting killed. That doesn't happen often enough. And that was of course a reference to those horrible films known as Twilight. Anyway, let's introduce these two before I go too off topic. Spawning up in the top left hand position. The red Terran player. Representing Madals, it's HeroMarine. And his opponent down in the bottom right. The blue Terran player, it's kauP. kauP, I think is how you say his name. I'm always really bad at it. I know that Penguin from My Insanity has previously coached me on saying his name, but I just can't do it. The British in me is just there's vowels together which just never really occur, and it is really confusing to my brain. So my brain is just like, no. Anyway, barracks coming down, good times. Barracks coming down also for HeroMarine. Gases are the next thing we gotta look out for. No gases mean super damn fast expansions. TvT is an intense matchup, seriously. Cool fact, first time I ever cast HeroMarine was at the ESET UK Masters 2013 Season 1. And he played up against Sting, who was then on Western Wolves. And he played the most incredible TvT series I've seen outside of Korea. It was absolutely fantastic. He showed such skill. That was right at the start of Heroes of the Storm, though. So Heroes of the Storm, Heroes Heart of the Swarm. God, you can tell I've got an alpha invite, can't you? So yeah, where things go now, it's going to be very interesting. kauP is also a really good player. So I'm very excited to see how he's going to do. He just beat Goody in a TvT, which is no easy achievement. If nothing else, it shows that kauP has been prepared with drinks and snacks all around him, because Goody is, of course, the king of turtling. Both players just sitting on the one gas at the moment and the one racks. Both going to be jumping with a reactor coming down for both of them. So both jumping in with our reactor nice and fast. Going to allow them to pump out more Marines, playing it quite careful. They are in the cross-spawn positions, which kauP has just scouted. For the moment, HeroMarine, he will have known that his opponent is in the bottom right. He lost an SCV-2. Oh, actually no. He managed to get his SCV away. Oh wait, no, kauP managed to get his SCV away. kauP, of course, expanding now. So is HeroMarine. These two neck and neck in everything they're doing. Even the factories coming down within a couple of seconds of each other. Neither really getting a huge lead. So which way this is going to go, it's going to be really quite exciting to see. We've got not much else really happening at the moment. Both players just going for probably some Hellion play fairly early on. Could also be a very early start port from both of them. Something else to keep a good peek on. The winner of this, of course, goes to face HeroMarine in the finals. Second gas now coming through for kauP. Meanwhile, HeroMarine just happily staying on one. Gets his second up now. Bit later than that of his opponents, but only by about 15 seconds. So minor differences. Starport coming through for kauP. Starport coming through for HeroMarine. Both following the same 1-1-1 style build. Widowmine coming out for HeroMarine, whereas kauP has yet to produce anything. He's going for the double Hellions out of this factory now, switching it over with that barracks, which is now powering a tech lab ready for that starport. So probably going to be seeing some Banshee play. Meanwhile, the mine coming down for HeroMarine just makes him very safe, adding on the tech lab now. So he's probably going to go for the old switcheroo around with various things there. Keep an eye on what he does exactly. Love this placement of the Widow Mine. A small group of Marines could easily come wandering up here straight into it. So smart play. Scan is coming down on both sides pretty much at the same time. It is unbelievable how close these two are in terms of their timings. Raven coming down now for kauP, and it's actually going to be HeroMarine who's opting for the Banshee play with Cloak. But Cloak Banshee's going to be completely ineffective when there's already a Raven going to be hitting the field, and that mobile detection keeps vision of it. Neither player really getting a substantial difference in their play. The Widow Mine's now coming out for kauP. No mobile detection though for HeroMarine, which makes him a bit more vulnerable to the mines than his opponent. Wait to see what's done with these. Looks like we're going to be getting a mech build out of the blue Terran player. Meanwhile, no guarantee that it's going to be mech yet out of HeroMarine. Considering he hasn't switched off this barracks or anything, I suspect he's going to be going for some kind of tank marine composition up against mech. Still very good. First Widowmine, there, ready and waiting. A couple getting placed. A bit more defensively by the watchtower there. The Banshee, going to have to back out. The Burrow was able to go down, so that Widowmine was active. Of course, the Banshee now seen, and there's already a Viking out, plus the Raven, wherever the Raven may be. Was the Raven actually allowed to finish? It was, so just staying up here in the main, ready to pick up the cloak. Another Widowmine coming around the side. Third CCs coming down for both players, and this is getting ridiculous now. Within 4 seconds of each other there. Both players going up for tanks. The biggest difference is that kauP is currently mech building, whereas HeroMarine is opting for a bio-tank composition. Add-ons still getting powered at the moment. Tech Lab being added on, more barracks being added on here as well. A lot more barracks coming down for HeroMarine. Don't believe he's yet seen that his opponent is meching. kauP though, nor has he seen that his opponent is going for a mainly... Oh, actually no, HeroMarine has scouted the meching build with that Banshee. Knows that there's the double factory coming through. Blue Flame coming down for his Hellions and Hellbats. Ready and waiting. First few tanks hitting the field now as well. These two still just so close, playing quite passively. Getting up a good expansions, getting up good amounts of tech. +1 infantry weapons is now researching up for HeroMarine. He's got just the one engineering bay. Meanwhile, kauP, he doesn't yet have an armory, but is getting down that engineering bay. However, HeroMarine racking up a good few kills here now with a Banshee, picking away 4 SCVs before retreating, knowing that the Raven and Viking will be coming to intercept it. Will be able to get away with its life, and that's some nice damage done. 4 SCV kills cannot be underestimated. It's 200 minerals worth of damage directly and lost mining. HeroMarine still only up though by he's kind of up by ish 2 workers, give or take a little. So not a huge difference between these two. Economically speaking, both players' third bases are very close. kauP burrows up a mine. That's exceptionally annoying. Scan comes down from kauP, sees, okay, what's my opponent doing? 1 tank sitting down there at the moment. Scan being forced by HeroMarine to clear out the tank. And of course, kauP knows when his opponent's expanding, but for the moment, HeroMarine, I don't believe, he's seen the 3rd CC, but doesn't know exactly when it's floated down. kauP also opting to take a different base to HeroMarine. Expanding forward, allowing his tanks in a bit more of a secure spot there. Now up to those 3 factories, producing a lot of tanks at the moment. Double armory now done. He's slightly behind in upgrades, but with the double armory compared to the single engineering bay, will end up over the course of the game getting ahead in upgrades. HeroMarine building a bunker up on the high ground. Really smart placement there. This is a really easy area to get sieged up, and it's exceptionally hard to break, and you can lose your 3rd. Mine gets a nice hit down there. We'll get taken out though in the process. That's a little bit frustrating. Few Hellions ready to flank through, but there's mines, 2 tanks and 2 marauders. They're not going to be successful in their attempt. Nice little hit goes off there. The tank... Oh, 1 Hellion does actually manage to make it through. No, it doesn't. Nice range on that tank though. HeroMarine now preparing to push forward. 3 more factories coming into production for kauP. HeroMarine just getting his 2nd engineering bay and enjoying the extra income from his 3rd. Supplies, HeroMarine is up at the moment, but that's to be expected up against a meching Terran. A mech player will always be at a lower supply in the mid game. But it's late game when they start to max out that they get really terrifying. And that's something that kauP is gunning for. He wants to survive as long as possible. He's getting this mass turret ring. Clearly taking some tricks off Goody from the series they just played there. HeroMarine still waiting patiently, preparing to see what else could come through. Scans being used on both sides. HeroMarine just takes a little peek at what's coming out. Sees just how many tanks there are. Note that 4 of them are unsieged. HeroMarine may feel bold enough to go for that. There are 2 up on the high ground still sieged up and 2 over by the 3rd. This mass ring of missile turrets is mainly there to prevent drops moving in. That's the biggest threat to kauP. His tank's now moving forward, and HeroMarine's going to have to back away from this. There's far too much mech to be able to engage into that. That one lone marine tries to take out the barracks. Isn't going to be successful, but a big group of units coming in from the right. This could catch kauP off guard. HeroMarine going to focus the building command center first, preventing a 4th coming down. And because it's still in construction, it's not going to get saved, nor was it cancelled. Big pick off there. The Marauders get a couple of nice kills. Marauder production 3 at a time. More barracks being added in. No 4th command center as of yet for HeroMarine, but that was a nice little snipe, especially since the cancel didn't come through. HeroMarine trading about triple the efficiency of his opponent. He's up in upgrades, got 2-1 and the +1 vehicle attack coming through, whereas the opponent has just started the 2-2 upgrades, so they're pretty close, but a slight advantage there for HeroMarine overall. Still things looking though ridiculously close with how it's all going. Another little attempt from HeroMarine on the right to sneak his way through. These Marauders actually doing a respectable job, but the Hellbats closing up the range will tank up a lot of the damage. Still though, the Marauders got a few nice shots off. The medevac going down isn't ideal. The Viking being put to good use. We've got just a heavily defensive style coming out of kauP at the moment. He wants to try and secure up a 4th, or at least that's what he was gunning for earlier. Whether he keeps that, we'll have to keep an eye on, but for the most part, he's just getting a bit more bold now, moving out with a sizable force of mech. He's up to about, well, he's up to 104 army supply, 160 odd overall supply, which is a quite normal timing of moving out. Although a decent chunk of his supply is still back at home. HeroMarine will want to try and take the trade, but he doesn't want to take a trade pushing in to sieged up tanks. Medevac getting taken out. Of course, medevacs can heal up Hellbats. They're classed as a biological unit. So these medevacs really improve how fortified the front line is. A couple of tanks are going to get taken down here, but more reinforcing through should be able to clear up the rest of the Marauders. kauP just forced to wait for the time being. HeroMarine got a decent spread on his army. The watchtower being held gives kauP the full vision needed, but a couple of Hellbats will go down. That's nice. Good pick up there by HeroMarine. More reinforcements coming through though for the blue Terran player. HeroMarine playing this very patiently. The 4th base now secured by both players. Big move forward though, and this is a very bold move by kauP, but he is smashing through the Marauders, trying to close up the distance, but the tank line at the back for HeroMarine has been slaughtered, but it's the Marauders coming from all angles that are going to take a decisive win in that fight. Yes, HeroMarine lost all of his tanks, but he had enough infantry there, and losing your entire mech army is very devastating. HeroMarine now up by 40 supply, and yes, there's a couple of tanks here and a few Thors, but there's so many Marauders that HeroMarine can now be very aggressive should he want to. He'll resupply a lot quicker as well, and that's what he's going to be keeping a big eye on. Couple more Thors coming through. You've got a Sense Tower coming up though. That's a smart move to keep awareness of where drops could be coming, little move-ins could be coming. HeroMarine also taking a 5th and 6th command center now. Going into a lot of Raven production as well, which is always a smart move to make as well. Adding in the durable materials upgrade as well as the Corvid reactor. Not too much else really on HeroMarine's side. He's happy with that last engagement, still trading quite nicely. Losing about, well, roughly, losing about, yeah, just over 2,000 resources, 2,200 resources less than kauP. These additional command centers will become quite important. Note this one's been spread out a bit further, so it can't be seen by scans. Another one has been seen though. That was actually the first one. It was floating over. I take all of that back. So this is a lot of CCs coming out for HeroMarine. kauP, he's just waiting around the watchtower. Doesn't want to engage yet. Last time, even when he got quite a nice engagement, HeroMarine just had a better concave and surrounded him with Marauders. Control being really shown by both of these two, and patience. And I'd say TvT is probably the map where patience, or the matchup that patience really does become critical. You can't make too many rash or rush decisions. You've got to calculate every move you make, every reposition of tanks, just to make sure that things are kept secure. Another CC is now being produced. The current command center count is for HeroMarine. He's got 4 orbital commands, 1 planetary, so he's up at 5, 6, 7 command centers in total, compared to 5 of his opponent. A couple of tanks getting caught off there by a group of marauders, always nice pick-off. Got a couple of Hellions coming around the left-hand side, but with a planetary fortress there, that should make pretty much sure work of them. They will get a couple of SCV kills though, regardless. The planetary trying to back away, these marauders sitting right on the edge of that sensor tower radius. Going for a scan to see what's there, sees 3 tanks. Probably won't try and move in as of yet. Hellions push back, HeroMarine keeping 1 supply depot in position, just to see anything that tries to sneak around the left hand side there. More command centers coming through, more Ravens coming through on both sides. And we're really getting into kind of a late game Terran composition at the moment, which is just a heavy Raven count, lots of Vikings, and generally a composition that's going to be able to burst down your opponent. The key is the Ravens though for HeroMarine, because he wants to get the Seeker missiles onto the tanks, but he's moving in with some marauders, takes down a couple of missile turrets and a tank or 2, but losing quite a few units in the process. Probably not the best trade for HeroMarine there, but it's pretty much equal looking at the resources lost. I believe that was actually one of his own tanks that kauP just killed. Bit of a misclick, unfortunately. HeroMarine currently sitting up at 5 bases and has got now so many command centers, it's insane. The advantage of getting so many command centers late game as a Terran player is that you can use mules to compensate for a lower SCV count. And that means that you can free up more supply to get more army supply down. kauP, he's just adding in more starports, wanting to get as many Ravens as possible. HeroMarine already producing 5 at a time. Raven count sitting at 10 to 5, so double the Ravens for HeroMarine at the moment, which means double the Seeker missiles. These 2 marauders still just taking a nice bit of damage. We do have a small little one-by worth of drops coming through, but cleaned up nicely. Overall workers killed this game is fairly low, only 16 in total, 12 worker kills for HeroMarine and 4 for kauP. Not that much else going down in the moment. A few Hellions just trying to find their way up, but they're not going to be able to do too much else. Another quick little check here. Still things are going very, very nicely. And yeah, kauP just going to be trying to find somewhere to go in with these Hellions. But Marauders in a bunker on the high ground should be able to force them back. At least stopping the optimal positioning. HeroMarine tactically sacrificing a couple of SCVs. Actually doing a good job of it. kauP nearly killing off one of his missile turrets in his wall. Hellions making a good amount of damage actually towards the 3rd base of HeroMarine. Killing off a good number of those SCVs, but actually a bit of a favour to HeroMarine. He's just got so many mules now that he doesn't really need them. He's got a total 8 orbital commands. That's 8 mules. More than enough, but we're about to get a fusion core. That makes me a happy boy. In comes now another small group of units for HeroMarine. Should be able to take up this orbital command before the Hellions get over. My goodness, there's a lot of Hellions. Not actually going to be able to get that kill, surprisingly. Just too many Hellions coming over. Has to back out. Going to come on the high ground though. Quick little scan trying to be used, but of course the Hellions' range not that ideal. And the Marauders are very good against them being armored units rather than light, so they don't take bonus damage. A couple of SCVs sacrificing now as well for kauP. And kauP making a bold move, bringing all these Hellions on the side, realizing now that that would just mean that HeroMarine could just jump down. Marauders all picked up, taken to the other cliff, and this is HeroMarine really utilizing the terrain effectively to stop his opponent. Picking off these Hellions as they come through in smaller numbers. Always nice to do. HeroMarine nearly maxed out now, and both players have been efficient at reducing their SCV count. Marauders trading very well now up against these Hellions, and some tanks are going to have to be repositioned, otherwise this base is going to fall. The Marauders trying to take out these mules as quickly as they can, overcome a few tanks and a few Thors and a few Ravens. But to be honest, this is going to be a very happy HeroMarine for this damage. His opponent does have 1 less base than he does. No, they're actually on equal bases. But mass Seeker missiles now coming down. Mass auto turrets are going to keep this base nice and secure. Still very passive game. Only 18,000 and 12,000 resources lost over half an hour, which isn't actually a huge number, but HeroMarine ready to put an end to that now. The flight of the Ravens coming across. 29 Ravens up against 20. The Seeker missiles, the auto turrets, the PDDs are going to be massive, as they're already getting started now. Those Seeker missiles aren't going to be able to detonate. The Hellions get away quickly enough. Actually, no, that was HeroMarine sacrificing some Hellions in, wasn't it? Actually, trying to bait forward those Seeker missiles, but the auto turret's doing a bit too much. Auto turret wars are now going on. Durable materials is actually done though for HeroMarine, which means that his auto turrets are slightly better, if I remember what that upgrade does correctly. More auto turrets getting thrown down for both sides, not too much really happening. Tanks sieging up, PDDs being pulled down. Siege tanks are exceptionally vulnerable to Seeker missiles because of the time it takes them to unsiege, as we're about to see now. A lot of tanks about to go down there, nice control. But the bottom left hand base is probably going to die, unfortunately, for kauP. He's not going to be able to get over here to defend it. So many auto turrets getting thrown down. Pretty hilarious times. Mass auto turret wars, the key to late game TvT, it seems. As many Ravens as possible. Durable materials is being researched here. Okay, it extends the time duration of auto turrets, not how much damage they deal. My bad. Couple of Seeker missiles are now coming down though on HeroMarine's medevacs. They're going to burst forward to force the detonations over his opponent's army. Cool plays being utilized here. Meanwhile, a couple of Hellions trying to kill off some units there, but HeroMarine getting ready to go with more of those Seeker missiles. Is going to take down a couple of tanks. Always nice to do. A Thor as well, taking a few big beatings. These Hellions finally getting cleaned up. Both players down to around, well, 38, 39 SCVs, so pretty low on the worker count. More auto turrets getting thrown down. HeroMarine still up in the Raven count, 39 to 28. This is pretty much Raven Wars now. Mass auto turrets on both sides. This is pretty hilarious. I wish there was a way to... Can we actually see how many auto turrets are lost? No, we can't. That's a shame. Is this like the Terran equivalent of like Swarm Host? Mass auto turrets everywhere. kauP getting ready with his Hellions baiting over those Seeker missiles, but he gets it away. And if just one player gets that massive detonation under their opponent's Raven flock, it would be GG straight away. Mass scans being utilized, both players at an extraordinarily high number of orbital commands. Both players' total command center count is, well, actually one additional one for HeroMarine, but one of his is a planetary fortress. He's also getting two more, expanding just everywhere he can. Now we're base up, got a better economy, or should have anyway. Yeah, way better economy. 3,000 minerals a minute, 3 times more income. Both players getting into the ultra late game stages, but this Raven on Raven composition can last nearly forever because it all comes down to the Seeker missiles. If they hit well, everything can go pear-shaped pretty quick. More command centers coming down on both sides at the moment. We do have a little bit of fun coming through here as kauP tries to come through with one of his Ravens. Not quite sure what that was aiming to do. The scan sound seemingly never ending. There's that many scans coming through at the moment. Seeker missile gonna go down, gonna get a little kill there. PDD in position. A Thor gonna take a couple, but it hits the Ravens. Oh my goodness. Mini heart attack there as the Ravens just flew over one of the targeted Thors. Mass auto turrets now getting placed down. Seeker missiles being targeted on the Ravens. They'll get away though. They will deactivate. It's a tense moment whenever that happens. HeroMarine's overall resources a lot higher. He's also adding in a few additional starports, 4 more than his opponent if a resupply is needed. Going with the slow push forward with the auto turrets now. So many auto turrets coming through. No Seeker missiles being used. The Raven count 40 to 34, the closest it's been so far. But a whole mass of Blue Flame Hellions have found this top right base. And the Planetary Fortress is going to have to do a lot of work to try and pick that off. Ravens now coming from the top. PDD is going to stop those missile turrets from doing too much. A couple of Seeker missiles going through as well. Nice little flank coming through here. The PDD is really stopping these missile turrets from doing anything at the moment. On the left hand side, the auto turret's already there, already waiting. A lot of Ravens heading up to this base on the top right. A few Seeker missiles coming through on the mules as well. There are going to be some big hits. A lot taken out. The auto turrets getting some good work done. Defensive auto turrets as well coming through. We're now 35.5 minutes through in this game. And HeroMarine just taking a big economic advantage. But that doesn't help too much, getting a big economic advantage, if your opponent isn't really losing anything but a handful of Hellions that he decides to sacrifice. Work count is now 23 to 36. Army supply 162 to 156, both in favour of HeroMarine. More mass PDDs, more mass auto turret wars. Nice detonation from that Seeker missile. Those two tanks very close to each other. Few Hellions trying to find their way around yet again. The mass scans on both sides coming out pretty much continually. Planetary Fortress again being the saviour of one of HeroMarine's bases. Vikings managing now to discover that there is indeed Orbital Command flying over to this bottom left-hand base. Gonna get taken out. This mass auto turret war is simultaneously the most intense and boring TvT I've seen in a long time. Mass auto turrets still coming down. This poor little tank can't do much, but the Marauder's helping him out, making sure nothing dies. Mass auto turrets now coming down though for HeroMarine, attempting to besiege the third base. A couple of Seeker missiles actually going to come through. A few Vikings going to fall. Seeker missiles engaging on the rest of those Vikings. They're trying to close up the distance to the Ravens. Nearly a big hit. The PDD's stopping a lot of the Viking damage. More auto turrets are here. They're armored though, so they take bonus damage from tanks and Thors. A couple more Seeker missiles trying to go through. Bold move. Trying to just boost a medevac into your opponent's army once that Seeker missile has locked on to close up the distance. Approaching the 40-minute mark. The resource is lost, still in favour, but okay, a GG came down there. Did I miss something huge? This top right base died, and the bottom left-hand one was about to go down, but kauP still had a decent army supply, so maybe just realising that inevitably he was going to get taken out, and so GG's, and HeroMarine takes game number 1 of this best of 3.